Hello guys, and welcome to episode number 29, where we will be solving 5 more SQL problems, this time from Salesforce and one of them from Shopify. So let's get started here with problem number 1. Here we have to find the growth rate of active users for December to January for each account. Wow, okay. So growth rate for active users. This sounds like distinct different users. It doesn't say all users, just active users. For December 2020 to January 2021. Okay. The growth rate is defined as the number of users in January. So count or sum of the distinct users in January divided by number of users in December. We have to output the account ID here and the growth rate. So for every account ID, we have to figure out the growth rate. And the growth rate is the different number of users from January divided by the different number of users from December 2020. All right, so let's get started with this one. So we're gonna need 3 columns right here. We're gonna have 1, 2, and 3 columns. In the first one, we're gonna have the account ID. Then in here, in the second one, technically we're gonna need like January and then February. And we need the number of different users. We need 2 of these columns and we need a count. A total count for every account ID. Clearly, we have to group by the account ID. Now we have to figure out a way to create these 2 columns here. Of course, we're not going to show them up because in the final result, we're just going to divide like this and we're going to show one number. But this is the idea. Now, one way we can do this is by joining the same table and then filtering for the left side to be our January and for the right side to be December. My bad, this is December. So we can try something like that. That should work. We're going to say from SF events A, we're going to join SF events B. We're going to join them on A dot account ID equals B dot account ID. Now we're going to put the filter on the left side, the date here. If we look at the date looks like this, but actually it's a date time. We are only interested in the first part of this. So we're going to say that we want the left of the date. We only want 7 characters to be equal to 2021-01. We want January. So here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only want these 7 characters. On the left side, we want January. And on the right side, we want December 2020. So we're going to say and left b date 7, the 7 characters, equals to 2012. December 2020. Here we have January 2021. We want these conditions to be both true at the same time right here. This one and this one. Now, if we actually just show everything here, we're going to get all of this. We just united them. And on the left, here you see we have only the January, and here we have only December. Now we just have to show the same information, but in a different way. So we're going to choose from the first column, we're going to say account ID. That's what we want to show. And now we need 2 different counts. We need count distinct of user ID. But this one has to be from the left table, from A table. Now we're going to divide this by, we're going to say count distinct B user ID. We're going to call this growth rate. Now all we have to do is group by. We didn't group by. Group by, we're going to say group by 1, which is going to be this one right here. So this should be the final solution. Let's check out if it works. And it seems it is correct. The growth rate here is 1, for this account is 2, and for the third account 0.5. So recap here, let me make this a little bit bigger. Oh, it doesn't matter. So quick recap here. We have to first look at this section right here, this entire section right here. First, we are joining the same table, but on the left side, we are filtering. we want the date to be part of January. And on the right side, we want to keep all of the December dates. Then we simply have to go up here and show the account ID, because we are going to group by it right here for every account ID. And then we have to find the growth rate. The growth rate right here is this orange one. And to find out the growth rate, we have to aggregate here the count of distinct users in the first table, and keep in mind the first table is the one for January, and then we divide by the count of the distinct users in the B table, and the B table has the December users here. This one's definitely a little bit more complicated, but it's much better than just using one filter and being done with it. Problem number 2, let's see here. Find the number of employees each department. This is a group I. We have to output department name along with number of employees. We have to output 2 columns. And then we have to sort records based on sort number of employees descending. So for every department, we have to find the number, the sum or the count. Let's see. Well, we have a lot here. Find employees. Well, the table is called employee. So I suppose this is a unique ID for an employee. So we just have to say the count. We have to use the count for every department here. We're going to say count of all. I'm going to say here num employees. And we have to group by department. Then we have to order by the number of employees descending. That should be the solution. And seems to be good. Sales 22, management 4, audit 4. So quick recap here. For every department right here, for every department, we want to count the total number of employees. Then we just want to order them by that number in descending order from the highest to the smallest. Problem number 3, guys. Let's see. You are given a list of exchange rates from various currencies to USD in different months. Show how the exchange rate of the currencies has changed in the first half of 2020. Output, let's see here, output currency code and the difference between values of the exchange rate. So we have 2 columns. One of them is the currency code, and the other one is basically a subtract between July 1st and this one in January 1st. And we have to do this, I believe, for every currency. So for every currency, this is super similar with the one before. I think it's basically identical, because in both cases we have to do, before we had to divide a date by the other one, and now we have to subtract this one from this one. So in both cases we have to filter for a particular date. Well, we're gonna try with the same solution as the other one. So we're going to say from SF rate A, we're going to join it with B on, because we want to show here the source currency, we're going to join on this one, A dot source currency equals with B dot source currency. And here we want to show the source currency from the first table. I don't think it's relevant. Yeah, it's better from the first one actually. And then we want here the difference. So we want on the left table, we're going to keep the July, and on the right table, we're going to keep January. So we're going to say A dot exchange rate here minus B dot exchange rate. We're going to call this change. Now we have to put our filters here. For the first table, we want the date to be 2020-0701. And for the B table, we want the date to be 2020-0101. And that should be the final solution right here. Interesting. So the mistake here was that I called the column charge, and I think it's some sort of a, well, now it works. I don't understand. Anyway, charge rate or whatever I put here, that was wrong. Change. I think I put change. Yeah, it seems change must be some sort of a keyword. So we're going to say change rate. Now we're going to run the solution, and it seems, yep, everything is correct here. We have every currency here and the difference from the value it had in July, subtracting here this one. So quick recap, in this section right here, we are creating 2 columns. The left side, which is this one right here, we are only keeping the values from the July 1st. And on the right column, we are only keeping the values from the 1st of January. And then up here, we are just simply taking the currency, and then we deduct all of this one minus, we have minus here. and then the other one. A here, it's the 1st of July, and B, it is the 1st of January. Let's see here, problem number 4. We have to find the monthly active users. Monthly active users sounds again like so distinct. January 2021 is a filter. Each account we have a group by. Your output should have account ID, monthly count for the account. We have 2 columns, 1 filter, and 1 group by here. Let's get started. Each account ID, we're going to say account ID, and then we need distinct users, active users, user ID, this one. We're going to say here number of users. We have here where date has to be January 2021. We have to do the left thing again. We're going to select the 7 leftmost characters. We're going to say date 7 characters equals 2021, I think 2021-01, and that should be the final answer. Oh, my bad. Wow, I forgot to put the group by account ID, and then here we have to actually do account. What am I doing? This one. Okay, now we're good. So here for every account ID, we want to find the total number of distinct users. And we have here a filter where the month is January. And this is one way of figuring out which month is January. Problem number 5 and the last one for today. Let's see what we have here. How many orders? Many orders. We have to do some sort of aggregation here. Could be count or sum. Shipped by. This is a filter here. Speedy Express in total. So total orders of Speedy Express. Now let's see what we got here. We got 2 tables. So we're going to have to do some sort of a join. Now let's find the keys here. This one, clearly we need to output. The final output has to contain, or we have to filter actually based on this name. So we're going to have to find this ID here. This ID right here from Shopify carriers corresponds to carrier ID. So these 2 right here. That would be our on. When we join, we're going to join on these 2. And we have to sum up the orders. Since the table is called orders here, we're just going to sum up the order IDs. We're going to count them. So let's get started with that. We're going to call this one Shopify orders. We're going to call it O. We're going to do an inner join on Shopify carriers. We're going to call this one C. Now we're going to join O carrier ID equals C.ID. And here we want to put our filter where I'm going to say C.name equals, we have this one Speedy Express. Now we have to output just the one number, the count. We have to output the count of O.order ID. And this column looks terrible here. We're going to call it total orders. And there we go. It seems to be 7. So here we are joining 2 tables based on the carrier ID. Then we only want the carrier to be Speedy Express, and we are counting all of the orders. So that was it for today, guys. Definitely a lot more interesting than some other episodes. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new today. If you like these kinds of problems, I highly encourage you to join the StrataScratch community. Consider using the affiliate link in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.